What is going on, guys? For today's video, I will show you the new and improved Druid build in Diablo 4 Season 8. This particular setup was popular in the previous season, but now it is even more OP if you just change few new things. This build revolves around the Nature's Future Key passive, and the newly buffed Earthbreaker and the unsung aesthetic wraps, to generate an incredible amount of lightning storms, which benefit from both the storm and the earth multipliers. In the current meta, this is the highest DPS and most efficient endgame build for speed farming, killing bosses, and pushing higher pits. So, if this sounds interesting to you, then let's get right into it. Let's start off with the skills, and we will be using the Earthen Bulwark, Poison Creeper, Blood Howl, Petrify, Storm Strike, and the Landslide. And for our spirit boons, we want to select the Weariness to reduce the damage from elites, then the Swooping Attack for 15% increased attack speed, then Avian Wrath for 30% critical strike damage, then the Pack Leader for Lucky Hit, which makes that your critical strikes have up to 25% chance to reset the cooldowns of your companion skills, and finally the Calm Before the Storm, which gives us another Lucky Hit. So now our nature magic skills have up to 10% chance to reduce the cooldowns of our ultimate skill by 2 seconds. The Landslide Druid is an AoE powerhouse, with significant speed farming and pit pushing potential. Since we rapidly generate the Lightning Storm, we benefit from both the Storm and the Earth skill multiplier. So we are able to leverage multiple aspects, passive skills, and legendary nodes, which affect both types, to take our damage to the extreme numbers. Also the Shape-Shifting and Poison multipliers, thanks to the Vasily Sprayer and Poison Creeper, which increases our damage even further. So then moving over to our skill tree, and this is what we have. And by the way guys, you can find the link to this full build and website guide in this video's description. For this setup to work, you will need to have a level 50 character and have finished the campaign, which is extremely easy to do in the current season. So then in the first section, we spend 2 points to unlock the Storm Strike and to enhance it. Storm Strike reduces the cooldown of the Earthen Bulwark through the Symbiotic. It also provides a source of damage reduction and activates half of the bonuses from the natural balance. We usually want to cast it every 3 to 4 seconds to maintain these effects 24/7. Then we move over to the next section and spend few points to unlock the Lightning Storm and Landslide, and then to enhance them. Landslide deals decent damage on its own, but it is the main mechanism by which we cast our primary damage dealer, the Lightning Storm. We want to cast it repeatedly in the tectonic spikes, which are created by the Earthbreaker for more free DPS. Then we move over to the third section and spend few points to get the Earthen Bulwark and Blood Howl. Earthen Bulwark creates a barrier on a cast, and more importantly, it makes you unstoppable, which allows you to avoid or even get out of crowd control effects, while activating the damage bonuses and spirit generation from our Bolt as well. And then our Blood Howl provides a modest heal while bolstering our attack speed and activating a handful of shape-shifting bonuses. Its cooldown can be recovered quickly thanks to the enhanced Blood Howl upgrade. Then in the next part, we just spend 3 points to get the Poison Creep skill. This will proc Landslide through Subterranean and activate the Envenom and other effects that require the enemy to be poisoned. We usually want to use it in the beginning of the fight in high density, but sparingly against bosses, as its passive effect should mostly maintain poison against single targets, and Poison Creeper can only trigger the Nature's Fury once on its initial cast. Then after that we go into one of the last ones to spend a bunch of points and get the Crushing Earth, Stone Guard, and the Envenom passives. Envenom is a huge damage multiplier that is constantly up thanks to the Poison Creeper companion. Then in this section, we spend pretty much the rest of our points by getting the Circles of Life, Natural Disaster, Quick Shift, and much more. And finally, for our key passive, we select the Nature's Fury, which is used to reset the cooldown of the Earthen Bulwark and trigger our Lightning Storm. Then next up, let's take a quick look at our gear, and I will show you 2 setups. The first gear loadout will be a quick 30-second showcase of what you can use immediately, with 0 grinding required, and then after that I will show you the full endgame setup. So upon finishing the leveling process and approaching the endgame grind, many of the aspects you use are already available to use from the Codex of Power. so there's no reason that you shouldn't put them to immediate use, since they can be imprinted as often as needed as you upgrade your gear. So start by using easy to get legendaries, like the Aspect of Might on Helmet, then for chest armor the Aspect of Mending Stone, for gloves the Rapid Aspect, the Aspect of Disobedience, for boots the Aspect of Quicksand, for weapon the Aspect of Retaliation, for amulet the Aspect of the Calm Breeze, and for both rings the Aspect of the Umbral and the Crash Stone aspect. This early setup gives us a functional build to begin farming with. In this setup we don't have access to Symbiotic, Nature's Fury, Trampled Earth or the Subterranean, which means that we can't prac Landslide with the Trample or Poison Creep, so this will require for you to directly cast the Landslide, while using the Wind Shear and Poison Creeper as alternative damage sources. The direct use of the Landslide means that the Spirit is an issue at this point, so we want to use the Umbral and Spirit per second to help sustain it. But then when you have a bit of grinding complete, then now we can look into our fully completed endgame gear. So then for the helm we equip the unique item called the Vasili's Prayer. Then for chest armor the Symbiotic aspect. For gloves another unique called the Unsung Aesthetics Wraps. For pants the Tibaltus Will. For boots the Vault Heart Hunger. For weapon the Aspect of Aftershock. For offhand the Aspect of Retaliation. For amulet the Aspect of Natural Balance. And for both for rings the Subterranean aspect. And the last important unique item called the Earthbreaker. Then as for gems on the weapon we want to get the Emerald for 25% critical strike damage. Then the Ruby for both the armor and our amulet for 9% max life and fire resistance. And then for both for rings the Sapphire and Amethyst for cold and shadow resistance. So then next up let's go over to our Paragon board. And as they are 225 different choices that I made, so I won't explain each one's reasoning, but most importantly what you need to know is that this board is optimized to give us as high damage as possible while not making us very squishy. So on the starter board we follow this path and select the human glyph for 10% damage reduction while we are in human form. Then next up we have the heightened malice with the earth and sky glyph for 10% increased damage to crowd controlled or vulnerable enemies. Then next we have the inner beast board with the undaunted glyph for 10% damage reduction when we have the fortify. Then we have the earthen devastation board with the auto match glyph for 16% increased physical damage to non-elites and bosses. Then now we move all the way to the right side to get the constricting tendrils board with the territorial glyph for 15% damage reduction against close enemies. And then lastly we go up all the way to here and get the Thunderstruck board with the Spirit glyph for 12% damage increase when we attack the enemies with our critical strikes. And now finally we have come to the last and final part, which is the gameplay and our skill rotations. So first of all we want to cast the Landslide. By using our setup we maximize both the skill and our Lightning Storm, which is our primary damage dealer, although we don't need the Lightning Storm on our skill bar. Then next up we use the Poison Creeper, which is retained primarily to inflict poison on mobs and activate the related bonuses. We want to use it sparingly against single targets, as the passive component should be mostly accomplished on its own. Then next up we have the Storm Strike that should be used frequently, so every 3 to 4 seconds to maintain the damage bonus of the natural balance and its own damage reduction. Then we want to refresh the Earthen Bulwark via the Symbiotic and then shapeshift back to the human form, so then the subsequent Landslide cast will refresh our shapeshifting bonuses. And lastly, we want to continue to use the Earthen Bulwark for its barrier effect and to break or prevent the crowd control, but also offensively to generate the Spirit and gain damage thanks to our Tibaltus Will. And that's about it. So with that said, I really do appreciate everyone for watching guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or suggestions, then feel free to leave your comments in the comment section down below. And while you're doing that, please click like, subscribe and enable that notification bell, so this way you could support the channel and not miss any more amazing content. With that said, you have an amazing day and I will see you in the next one. So take it easy, peace.